We're back. We're at, what is this? Unit 1.2. We're going to continue our discussion of the social sciences. Always like to start with a little music here. This here is We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. Oh, I got a little commercial going on there. It's no good. Hold on. You know, I can't get away from these commercials no matter what. Let's see if I can't turn it up for you to hear. There it is. We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. Probably not Billy Joel's best song, but a fan favorite. Super long intro. Maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't. But this song is like always a fan favorite of social studies teachers because Billy Joel basically reads a whole list of famous people and famous incidents in American history, and that's the lyrics of the entire song. Worth a listen if you get a shot. There's tons of music videos out there that actually put the historical segments in with the lyrics, and it's a song that covers the history of the United States pretty much since World War II. Kind of interesting. So if we flip back over to our slide here, these are the social sciences again. And the potential college majors. We took a look at this in our last previous lesson where we basically focused on logical thought and what does social science mean and why is it a science with empirical thinking and logical thought. And we talked about how opinions really are just positions that need to be proved and backed up with empirical logical thought. As far as potential college majors, a big subcategory of the social sciences is of course, history, and a historian studies history. History is basically just the study of the who, the what, and the when. It's, frankly, in my opinion, it's a little boring. Now, when I was a kid, when people my age were kids, we didn't really call social studies class social studies. We called it history class. And our history professors were these nerds, sort of like featured in the slide here. Usually some old dude with a pipe, and they were pretty boring. And they just taught us who did what and when it happened. And there was a lot of memorization of these facts, right? And historians use primary sources, which are things like autobiographies, right? A primary source was there when it happened. And a historian uses these primary sources to basically build the story of who, what, and when. It's a little on the boring side, right? I prefer some of the social sciences that are a little bit more interesting. Okay, but back to our song, We Didn't Start the Fire. Billy Joel's just reading a list of who and what happened at these different moments in history since World War II. Joe DiMaggio, Joe McCarthy, Richard Nixon, Studebaker, television, North Korea, South Korea, Marilyn Monroe, right? Marilyn Monroe, she's just a famous actress from the 1950s, but there isn't a lot of depth provided from the historian's point of view. They don't get into the more interesting questions that I love, like why did things happen, or how did things happen, or what explains that particular thing happening at that particular moment in time. There's not a lot of depth beyond the who, the what, and the when. So for my money, history is great, but I'm really glad that our class has transferred to more of a social sciences approach rather than just strictly history. We'll be back next lesson. We'll talk a little bit about geography and define geography, and we'll go from there, all right? So stay tuned. That pretty much wraps our little mini lesson on what a historian does and what it means to study history.